Hey, how's everyone doing today? I wanted to take the opportunity to make another video. I'm in the middle of a move right now. But about a month ago I picked up this frame. I got the itch to do another project, since the modified's essentially done. And for me, that starts off with the frame. So this is a 1930, made in May, I think, 1930, Model A frame. It's in pretty good shape. It's had some repairs over the years, stick welded there. The rivets are still in place. I think on the underside you can see that the cross member is cracked a little bit. That's fine, we can get under there and weld it back up. It's a little bit pitted on the front spring mount, but once I get it blasted, if it's too far gone, you just stitch in a new piece of metal. It's got the original motor mounts that have been cannibalized throughout the years. Again, they're welded to the frame. Looks like someone took a torch to them. And it's got this weird engine retention strap as like a middle cross member. So this frame is in pretty good shape. It had rear and front bumpers on it when I picked it up, and you could see that both these bends in the rear were caused by that bumper. I guess it took a rear impact, but just flex this up. So when I do eventually box it, I'll bend it back at that point, so I know that the bottom and this portion are still true, and then I'll heat it up and bend this back down to meet that boxing plate. When we were disassembling it, it took very little. I think one bolt actually took heat. Everything else came out with a large ratchet set. So, as part of the move, this thing will sit inside the moving truck, but it'll sit tightly up against the wall without that engine crossmember strap and these old brake rods and rotating levers. So, this morning I've got it drug outside, and I'm just going to cut those off. For me, just a cut-off wheel will take them right off. But if you want to try and preserve them, you could disassemble them, but it's going to take heat and probably some rust, liquid. There's a little bit of pitting. That's probably the worst of the pitting right there. But I'll take the grinder and cut off most of this. I probably won't bother with these tabs today. But on my previous frame, I think I have a video from years ago where you just grind off the head of the rivet, and then you take a punch and hammer the rivet the rest of the way through, or not a punch, a drift, a drive, whatever you want to call it. So I'll get this guy cleaned up. Eventually it's going to go to a media blaster, get it completely cleaned up, and then it'll be the base for a new project someday. Hopefully soon. Alright, so we'll cut back to when it's ready to be moved, essentially. And just like that, the parts are cut off. There was a little bit of a surprise underneath this motor mount. The strap that they stick welded across the bottom of the frame to hold it tighter together has some pitting. And one point where it's broken through. Not a big deal. This frame's going to get boxed, so maybe cut out this chunk of metal, replace it. Definitely put a plate of steel across the inside. But like I said, I'm just trying to knock those big parts off so I can move this thing. All the rivets are still there. I didn't want to mess around with that, so just cut off the big stuff and what bolts were easy to get to. There's the results of it. Like I said, there's some cracking on the inside. Oddly enough, it's these rivets are still intact, these two. This third one's in the middle of the crack, and then it's separated from the outer plate that's riveted. So that'll be an easy repair. This looks pretty good from the inside. Some pitting in here. This side's pretty good. The front or the middle cross member is really good. There's It almost looks like where they folded over in the factory, it just got weakened because it's not rusted. It's not pitted through, it's just a little seam. Yeah, everything looks great. So now I'll put it in the garage until it's time to move, and then I'll lean it up against the wall on the inside of the moving truck and strap it to the side. And then someday I'll start on it. But that is eventually going to be the next project. Hope everyone's doing okay. Like and subscribe.